Well, one more season goes down and another one starts a couple of months later. The Stars and Stripes Cup Series Season 5 is about to begin. We got a nice teaser last week with the shootout where it was a dramatic flair of a white flag finish where Scott Rickard got himself into victory lane. But here tonight, 36 drivers are prepared to start out the season with a new generation of cars. The Generation 7 Cup car is the time as Season 5 is ready to get rolling. 3 minutes left here in practice as the Stars and Stripes Cup Series is ready to go for the Daytona 200 here this evening. The Great American Race is ready to be shown as we got 36 drivers ready to go. Tonight we'll all be on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, as well as Robert Moyer running productions in the background. Zach, got a little bit of off season, but we're back for Season 5. A lot more rookies are coming in this season and this go around. We got a good preview last week on how we're expecting tonight to go.
Oh, that preview last week was very wild, all the way down to the end with that wild ending there with that Rex involved in that whole incident. So, man, I can't wait for this here. Daytona tonight to start off the season. What a better way, what could be a better way to start the season here at Daytona here, classical NASCAR style they do here at Stars and Stripes. And I just can't wait till we get through into the real meat of the season because man, we got some great drivers like you brought up that have come in as rookies, and we got a lot of returning drivers that had really good seasons last season, but now they're thrown again with another new car because I think that's the big story we go in from season to season here at Stars and Stripes in this series is they've been in a new car each and every one, so they've had to adapt each and every time. Now it's again going to be who can adapt the fastest.
Yeah, that first season was in the ARCA cars where Kyle McCoy found himself winning the championship. Season 2, Scott Rickard found himself absolutely dominating in the trucks. Then Season 3, when we started broadcasting here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting of this series, got to see that of Kyle McCoy winning those Xfinity cars. And then last season, one of the last real series that we got to cover here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting of the Gen 6 Cup machine, where Kyle McCoy captured his 3rd championship in 4 years. Obviously, he's going to be one of the heavy hitters and drivers to watch out for this season to go for his 4th championship. Or will we see Scott Rickard go for his 2nd championship? But I think there's a lot of drivers coming into this season as we're going into the Gen 7 Cup machine. We got drivers that have got a lot of redemption stories. We've got a lot of fast rookies coming in. This is one of the bigger rookie classes that are coming in since Season 1 of all the drivers that are coming into this group.
Yeah, it's a good handful of them, that's for sure. And and it's not just any handful of them; it's a good group of them. From what we see in that first race, those rookies were up there competing all the way down to the very end of this thing. So I expect a few of them to make surprises this season and really show up. And I expect a few guys, like last season, we seen Cameron Sarton coming as rookie and make huge noise. I mean, that guy was just everywhere each and every week. Finally got his win as he broke through later into the season, and his momentum just kept rolling. And unfortunately, didn't get to see him fight that championship race out there. Hopefully, this season he can get back there and have a shot at it this time, actually. But man, we got a great group. I'm just excited to see which of those rookies come out, from this rookie group here and performs the best early. And then I'm also excited to see the guys that are coming back for their 2nd season here. Who's gonna, maybe have the most improvement? So it's gonna be a fun season to watch here, Sam, as we head off into qualifying, man.
Yeah, last season, our rookie class was only 3 drivers. This season, the rookie class has grown up to 11 drivers going to be running here this evening and throughout this season. We're excited to see. Practice is done. Qualifying about to start for these drivers. They're going to have 5 minutes of qualifying with 2 laps to see who can get their fastest lap down. And Zach, qualifying at super speedways used to be very traditional, but with some of the updates that are coming out, you said that there was some, factors that are changing up for these drivers.
Yeah, major factors actually, as these drivers, we're used to before. We tried to make the first lap around this Daytona International Speedway once we're getting up to speed the longest way around. So what I mean by that is we were running right against that safer barrier on that outside wall, trying to build as much distance between the start-finish line and ourselves for coming back for that 2nd lap to drop to the bottom of the lane, run the shortest way around to get the fastest time. It was just building that momentum up. It took a little bit longer. Now it seems that these Gen 7 cars, we're up to speed a lot much faster, and you're going to see guys attempt their real fast lap on the very first lap, actually, and we'll see who is doing the old style, because I have seen people still do the old style way of taking that first lap around the top and run a quicker second lap, but it's still been tough for people to find out like the differences of what it is. For some reason that first lap seems to be clicking. We'll see who goes to that. Also, you got the traditional, we're used to 4 gears, now we're up to 5 gears. Do you shift to 5th gear? Do you stay in 4th? I would personally look to stay in 4th gear, as you want to bog that car down, but we'll see what produces lap time here. Is it looks like Christopher Wade the first one to take time, and you can already see, I think, from him, he's going to go straight to the bottom here on this first lap. Yes, and he does. So he's attempting the first lap speed here, but he's also going to wash up a little bit here too, Sam. That right there, to all you folks at home, he's trying to have the least amount of tire scrub here as he comes off the corner. He's releasing that wheel, letting the car go up the racetrack, and then as he goes down this back straightaway, he slowly guides it back to that yellow line as he gets to the entry and trying to make the shortest way around through the corners, but scrub the least amount of speed as you come out of them.
Yeah, kind of similar to what bobsled, if you've ever watched the Winter Olympics, bobsledders, they're always trying to let that thing just drift and let it move on its own through the corners. That way it's not just being forced and dragged everywhere. And Christopher Wade, obviously a driver to watch out for as he comes across the line. Plenty of other drivers are topping the board, but it's only going to be seen that of Wade up to 4th for himself. It's Martin Perry, top of the board, but that's another driver from that of Christopher Wade's team. Team Storm Motorsports, that is a strong team to watch out for, especially with the speed that's on top of the board for the pole position.
Yeah, it's showing they definitely worked out what they had going here through the season. There's the next teammate, and that's the rookie that hop up there with him, Ross Tatum there. So great job there, 1-2 from that group. Jason Gratton's also going to jump up to 3rd, and it's his sophomore season here. We'll see how he can produce, as he showed a lot of momentum to end out his rookie season.
Yeah, and honestly, for a lot of these drivers, some I'm kind of surprised by, that is going to be Ken Campbell. First lap wasn't fast. He found a little bit of extra speed on the second go-around. There goes Christopher Wade across the line for himself. He'll be moving up to 2nd. Is Scott Rickard going to best this time? We thought that first lap was going to be the fastest. It seems like everyone's been saving a little bit there for that second lap.
Yeah, that is very impressive to see there. Christopher Wade on the second lap actually picked up a good portion of time. That is impressive to see because he went straight to the bottom. So it wasn't like he built up more speed. He just did a better lap there. Probably had a little bit better help. Even factors such as wind out there can have a huge factor of what these race cars do. The wind is going up and down right now, and it's blowing anywhere from north to northeast right now at about 10 mile an hour. But I've seen it drop anywhere as low as 2 mile an hour down a couple times. I think it's all about timing here. These super speedways, qualifying is not just what you do, but it can be exactly what your conditions can be. Get a little bit of gust to help you on the back straightaway or such, or get a little bit of front nose wind on the front straightaway. It could be either way, hurting or helping your lap.
You're hoping that you're finding any type of help, and right now you see the focus. We saw it all throughout last season. It's the Andrew Medlin cam, as his number 12 is going to be 18th on the board on his first lap with a 50.054 lap time. He's got to find an extra about that of a tenth and a half if he wants to move up to that of anywhere better than 18th place. Doesn't look like that's going to be any more extra speed. He's going to be stopping for 18th. Other drivers going to be coming across the line, starting their laps. We got that of Brian Chu, who still needs to get out there, but they won't be able to. Zach, those 5 minutes are already up. We're getting ready to go racing.
It went by the blink of an eye here, my friend. I tell you what, Scott Rickard continuing the momentum from the win this past weekend from the shootout. He's going to start up front, and that is a great way to start his season.
Scott Rickard, remember, he is the winner from the shootout. He's a Season 2 champion, and now he's going to be the pole sitter for tonight for the Daytona 200. It's going to be that of Scott Rickard in first. Second, going to be the second fastest driver from last season for this race. Christopher Wade going to be second, starting to outside for that first lane. Changing numbers, going to be 13 last season, 94 this season. Cameron Sarton going to be in third. Then it's Ken Campbell, the winner from last season here at Daytona, one of the favorites to watch out for. Fourth, fifth is going to be the 44 of Kyle Bowling. Then one of our rookies going to be in sixth place. Thomas Ogle going to be out there with as well another rookie to watch out for. that of Joshua Robinson to his outside. Then it's that of Aaron Hale as well as Martin Perry for 8th and 9th place. And finishing out our top 10, it's Dylan Blatz in the 16th.
We're going to have our newcomer here in the number 21 machine, Ross Tatum, starting in the 11th position. Alongside him in 12th, it's going to be sophomore Jason Gratton. Three-time champion Kyle McCoy there, going to start in the 13th position with Kim MacArthur there beside him in 14th. 15th is going to go to Philip Chavez, with 16th going to the 48 of Sam Siegel. 17th is going to be the 38 of Brandon Pierce. Andrew Medlin, one of our contenders from last season there in the 18th position. 19th is going to be Timmy McNally, and rounding out that top 20, it's going to be Mike Lynch in the 2.
Then it's going to be Doug Pierce, going to be in 21st position in his sophomore year as well. And then to his going to be for that 22nd position, a driver that used to be race control now gets to see what his skills like. Randy Cornwell going to be in 22nd position for the 22 machine. In 23rd, it's going to be 25 of Nate Lynch, with a rookie, that of Will Bustler, going to be in 24th for the 36th machine. In 25th position, going to be that of Brian Lynch, with George Kovacic in 26th. 27th, going to be Chris Essery, who had the pole here last season. Won't be getting to this go around, but in 28th, another rookie, that of Zach Kreitz, going to be in the 46th, with that of another rookie of Ryan Lynch back in 29th. And finishing out our top 30, it's Trey Jackson in the 31.
In the 20 machine, it's going to be veteran Derek Hoffman starting 31st. Alongside him, it's going to be the 27 of Travis Dart, new number this season for him. In the 33rd position, it's going to be the 9 of Patrick Hasty. Alongside him will be in the 34th position, the 18 of Paul House. And our last two drivers on the tail end of the field, it's going to be Brian Shue and Brian Burchett, starting 35th and 36th.
All going to have 36 drivers, 9 different teams, 4 drivers to each team, as a couple of drivers deciding to start on pit road. Interesting call on their part, but it's not the worst thing in the world for yourself, especially on the fact of the way that we saw these drivers racing at the shootout. I think every driver wants to make sure that they are not caught in the big one early. But Zach, talking about a new season, new car, also a new restart for these drivers.
Yeah, very much so, Sam. It's a new restart zone rule here we got on iRacing. This is going to be interesting to see. Every one of these tracks now has the Geico restart zone, and that's going to be painted on the apron and along the walls. These drivers got to make sure they get on top of this quickly. This is something new for all of us, not only up here in the booth, but here out on the racetrack. And we could see that rear its ugly head here tonight and say, hey, you did this a little bit wrong, and you're going to get the black flag. So you definitely don't want to see that happen, but I would not be surprised if we don't.
And if they get a black flag, Zach, what is the major penalty that they would be grabbing?
I believe they're going to have to do a drive-through, and I think from there you might even have to hit the box and be a hold. That is something we're going to have to find out here as time goes on, I believe.
Well, the drivers get ready because it's time for a new start, a new season, and it's time to begin. It's the 05 and the 53 in the new Geico restart zone, and we are green for the Daytona 200. Season 5, it's on, and it's already the Season 2 champion, Scott Rickard, taking the lead.
Great start from that Season 2 champion, like you said there, Sam. And I tell you what, he's looking to come back with vengeance here, leading down into what is. He started off the season last season so strong, was probably looking to be one of the favorites. It did not end that way for him, but started off great with that shootout win. But it's going to be Christopher Wade up top. And look, he's got the help of his great teammate there in the 15. Those two starting to hook up and build some momentum for that top line as they take the lead.
I mean, they were the two that dominated last season at Daytona. They just were so strong. No other team had a possible chance to beat out Ken Campbell and Christopher Wade, but it was when Christopher Wade was following behind, but a little bit of jostling, coming with the bad bump out of the corner, and it's going to be Thomas Ogle, who's coming with a hard charge. That 83 pink and white machine has been so strong during practice. We're right on board with Ogle and get a sense of what this rookie is all about.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to see. Get to learn a little bit about Thomas and how he drives here tonight at Daytona. Like you said, he was lighting up the practice scores. Was the fastest man putting times down there in that practice session. He's looking to make big moves here early as he's pushed Ken Campbell out to the lead. And that really all started from a little bit of a push going wrong on that bottom side, as now Campbell's going to jump up top. Ogle going to leave him down up there. He's going to look to lead the bottom line here as Ken Campbell tries to get up with his teammate Christopher Wade.
And as these drivers continue to race on, coming out of turn number 4 to see who's going to lead this lap. Update for 2 drivers that missed the start. Chris Essery as well as Travis Dart both missed out on the grid and being on pit road. We've only got 34 drivers able to start out this race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that they're going to be missing the start here like that. And looks like they are both still not there. So yeah, it's just not going to be out there putting laps down tonight for them. So 34 cars, and Brandon Pierce, the one way back there, about 15 seconds all by himself. I believe he must have started on pit road too. So this is definitely shook up because he was in that 17th position. Didn't look to hold that as maybe thought, this could have possibly played out into a yellow, but we've seen these Stars and Stripes guys, they're very good at being very aggressive, but not having too many yellows.
Yeah, that's the big thing. If we are going to see yellows, it notoriously strikes in those final 30 to 40 laps of the race, if not the final 20 laps of a race. And we got to see these drivers racing so hard last week for the shootout, and a lot of drivers really were shining. And one of them was this 21 of Ross Tatum. Really was one of the drivers that wanted to stay up front, battle. He was also with some other rookies of that of Will Bustler, and were showing off some of the incredible speed that all these drivers had. But those rookies, they've got to be picking and choosing when they want to be aggressive, especially with how long this race is. It's not just 50 laps like the shootout was, it's 80 laps. And once again, like the shootout, they do have a faster pair to work with.
Yeah, that's going to be important to have that there for later in the race when this starts to get a little bit more aggressive, as these guys have shown a little bit of patience here so far. That outer groove is still working well up there. They have dropped back as a few cars now electing to jump up there to that top lane, and I believe that's going to be the 44 Kyle Bolin, who jumped up to lead the lane there to jump over with his teammate Scott Rickard and see if they can go forward. But yeah, now you're also going to have another car jump up there to the outside of Sarton there in that 94, but he decides to jump back in line.
And as these drivers are going to be jostling back and forth, I mean, the decisions of where you want to be always going to be the major factor. And, watching some of these drivers, Cameron Sarton, he's going to be back in, an opportunity for redemption. Wasn't able to race. He made the final four, but wasn't able to run. So he gave his spot to Andrew Medlin, who almost came away with the underdog story and winning the championship. But, looking at a lot of these drivers, you've got a lot of different storylines. When you take these last two seasons, some drivers that had a bad season 3 really shine, like Ken Campbell last season, getting an early 3-win season. But then there's other drivers that have just been so consistent, always up front. Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, they're always going to be drivers can get to victory lane. The big question is, who else could get there? And Dylan Glass could be one of the drivers here tonight, because he's figured out how to get to victory lane. It was back last season at Talladega. I mean, that season 2, of Talladega. But Dylan Glass, he's a driver that's figured out how to get to victory lane for a super speedway before. He might have to find a little bit of magic here tonight.
Yeah, making that number change for Dylan Glass this season to the 16 machine, so we'll have to see what he can do with that change here, and not only the car here, but also the number on the side of the door there. But looking throughout our field, we definitely got to see a few of the rookies back here. Will Bustler, and at 36, he's up top there. You got the 48, Sam Siegel down on the bottom side there as they're trying to hang on to the back of this pack right here, because right now it's about a 23-car breakaway. Doug Pierce being the last car in this front pack, and then from 24th all the way back to 33rd, you're looking at another group of drivers all stacked up.
As these drivers are racing on, the rules have always changed just from season to season. I do want to let everyone know the fast repair is only allowed for these drivers for super speedway racing at Talladega, and also here tonight at Daytona, and as well the drivers when they race at COTA will have a fast repair for themselves. But those are the only 3 races this season, Zach, where these drivers will have a fast repair. So if they get any type of damage, they have one brand new car sitting in pit road when needed, as we're seeing some of the drivers further back and how they're running in this field of let's get out of danger for this group.
Yeah, they're kind of dropped back here. They're still 2x2, but they're not making too many crazy moves. Everybody's just kind of running together right now, and I think that's the decision for a majority of these guys. I know there might be a few that are kind of frustrated back here saying, I didn't want to be stuck in the pack behind here, but you just got to ride it out here at Daytona. You're not going to most likely catch up to that pack unless something happens up there, as they fell back a pretty decent amount now, almost 5 seconds back from that leader, Ken Campbell. And the biggest thing they got to do is just hope for this front group here as we look up to them have some type of trouble, and they stay out of it because they're 5 seconds back, so they can react a little bit there and not get involved. But you can see it's kind of spread. I'm not seeing a lot of guys making too many big pushes yet. I think guys are being very patient right now.
And you got to think of last week. You got to see what just all the time aggression for 50 laps looked like. I think the drivers really took note about last week's race when we don't need to be as aggressive right off the rip. Wait for those final 20 laps when we really need to throw it all down. As right on board with one of our biggest movers here so far, the 3 of Ryan Lynch, up 11 positions for himself, qualified back in 28th, up to 17th. This 3's doing a great job moving forward, but gotta say for Ryan Lynch, one of the drivers that really shocked me on the speed and the guts that this 3 had last week.
Yeah, I marked him down just even after talking to him in our interview, just the confidence he gave off from the interview. I kind of marked him down as a guy to watch out for, especially coming in here tonight, especially all the speed he showed in that race. I really expect him to look very, very good in this 3 machine. When we get to the, it'll be really interesting once we get to the 3rd race of the season and, the 2nd race of the season there and get to see what these guys got on, a regular style racetrack. But definitely he showed his super speedway prowess as he was able to really make big moves in that shootout race. But right now, everybody electing still to be pretty cautious. I've seen some guys be aggressive so far, but nobody making any too big a boneheaded moves, and that just shows you. I mean, these guys are very, very smart out here. When they have a short race like the shootout race, they go out there, they put it all on the line, and they know there's not points on the line, other than those 5 bonus points added for the team that won that shootout race. There really wasn't too much on the line, so guys were willing to risk it here tonight. Guys are playing a little bit more smart and knowing they still have a faster pair in their back pocket that they want to save for later in this race.
Yeah, and that shootout race last week, I mean, it was so much fun to just watch all the drivers attacking and being so aggressive and, trying to find every single possible way to go for a win. And the drivers that won, it was based off the top average of your top 4 drivers on your team, and that was Team Southern that got themselves that bonus points as well as a little bit of cash. And those 6 drivers from last week was going to be that of Andrew Medlin, Trey Jackson, Brian Chu, also going to be that of George Kovacic, Randy Cornwell, and Ken Campbell were just so fast working together as a solid team and found themselves getting those bonus points.
There you can see right there that car up on the outside on the very top side. That's Brandon Pierce. He is going a lap down that yellow machine and had to hold that outside lane, let everybody go by. Hopefully he can hold on to the draft back here and hope for some type of caution to help allow him to get a lucky dog. But right now, Brandon Pierce is going to be behind the 8 ball here to start tonight. As the outside line started to make some big moves up, Sam. Sarton was leading it. I think that lap car coming through, it kind of stalled them there as they had to get a little too close to that inside lane where the side draft was really slowing them down.
Yeah, now that we got to see a little bit more separation, I think drivers might be thinking, hey, we can try to make some bigger and bolder moves. We got that 1 lap car out of the way. We're not going to be seeing another lap machine for a while. So let's try to get ourselves set up, get ready to go. And the driver that's going to be leading this chain is going to be Cameron Sarton. He's going to be having that of Kyle Bowling and many of others. But it seems like that outside lane, everyone's just feeling like, you know what? If I see an opening down low, I'm dropping down. I just want to get into kind of a rhythm base and not throw my race away in the early portions, or should I say lose your safety net immediately here in our first couple of laps.
Yeah, to lose that safety net, as you would say, would be very, very detrimental to the end of the race. You'd have to race it completely different. Right now, there is worry there about getting in a wreck because you don't want to use that. But at the same time, you have that backup plan. Once that goes out the window, you become very nervous as a driver when you see any type of crazy moves from your competition out there. So these guys doing a good job. But the one thing I've noticed, Sam, it is really hot out here. It's a lot of heat distortion and a lot of heat haze out here in Florida right now. It's about 122 degrees on that track temp too. So it's pretty warm out there for the track. These guys could be getting a little bit of tire wear here later in these runs, and that'll be interesting to see. Do they take 2? Do they take none as we go to green flag pit stops? That's going to be one thing also to watch out for once we get later in the race.
As you see the weather conditions on screen, again, talk about the 100.2 degree Fahrenheit. That's going to be on your top right of our weather graphic, but also the ambient temperature. It's only 75 degrees, and the wind only 4 or 5 miles per hour, is fluctuating just slightly, not too big of a breeze, so the drivers should be all right on that stance. But with tires, they do have 3 extra sets in pit road, so if they feel like they need to use a set, they do have one in pit road to work with. And as well, Zach, 100% fuel load, so the drivers, they can go quite a while with the fuel they've got in.
Yeah, they definitely can go quite a while. It's going to be right around that lap 40 mark for these guys. 20 gallons in the tank here this season for this Gen 7 Cup car, more than the 18.7 that we had last time in the Gen 6. So we can go a few more laps here and stretch it a little bit farther than we could with that Gen 6 car here. So we'll see what they can do with that type of strategy. If you can stretch it to 40, that's the way to go because you can one stop this race. It'll be the question is, can you do that, or do you have to save a little bit of fuel? I mean, if you did have to save just a tiny bit, say it's a half lap to a lap short, you can do that very well at Daytona. This draft helps a lot for saving fuel, being able to run partial throttle.
Talked about this further pack being out here, going to be that of Ryan Burchett that we're seeing on screen, as well as seeing that of Brian Lynch and that of Brian Chu. And you got three Brians all in line trying to work with one another. Well, let's talk about that of the U machine, as a couple of drivers shuffling back and forth behind in this group. But that 11 of Brian Chu, he has found himself in victory lane back in season 2 for this opener at Daytona. He's found himself in victory lane before. That was back when they were running the trucks. Now they're running the Gen 7 Cup machines this go around. But got to say, for season 5, Brian Chu, certainly one of the drivers that wants to elevate his speed and probably go for a top 10, top 15 run this season in the points. And I think the 11's got a decent shot of doing that, especially on the fact that from last season, the growth certainly was there for Chu once we got to the end of the season.
Yeah, he showed a lot of growth. And, even starting off the shootout there with the top 3 this past weekend, that was a huge momentum, I think, builder for him. Right now, back here in 26, about 12 seconds back. So, yeah, he is pretty far back here. But Daytona without a caution is very, very unlikely. And the pace these guys are running, they should not have to worry about going a lap down at any point. He's just got to make sure when they do get the pit road, everything is nice and done well here. But just got to ride right now and hope these guys up front make the mistake, because it's getting a little bit more dicey as that outside line, we can see it's finally made its way to that second row.
Once you get enough drivers in line, they start to get a little bit more dicey and willing to make some more aggressive moves. And that outer lane being led again by the 94 of Cameron Sarton, also having the 44 Kyle Bowling, going to be giving them the shove and trying to help. A little scary moment there, though. Zach out of the tri-oval, a lot of bumping going on for that top lane. That gave me a little bit of a scare for a quick moment. I would imagine for the drivers up front, they're just saying, give me a push and let's see if we can hold on and get up front.
Well, I can say from my experience recently with this car, it very well pushes. It goes very fast when you push each other. When you get to that contact and make that bumper stick, you can do it. But you have to have the right type of teamwork. If the person in front is weaving and moving down erratically, then it doesn't work. If the person behind is doing that, then it doesn't work. Because look behind here is checking up and they're wrecking. But they're not going to be cautioned.
Into the wall, they stay straight and no major issues for bringing out a yellow, but it's going to be heavy contact for the 4 of Aaron Hale, as well for the 3 of Ryan Lynch, for that of Ryan Lynch in the 3, as these drivers are slow. It's mainly Hale that's underpowered. That was a hard contact. The whole entire front bumper shifted, and I think he might be having some major issues with that front right tire as he continues to just try to hold on, but you can see the indent of the front bumper. Hale just heavily walloped and was hoping for a yellow to come at that moment, but it didn't.
Yeah, can't confirm. Getting a look on his right front suspension. That is broken. So Aaron Hale in the 4 here going to have to quickly come down the pit road, and that's how fast it can happen here at Daytona. And here comes that second pack that's around here, the outside of him. And man, oh man, Aaron Hale, who's had such a good ending to the season last season, they're getting the win at Dover. Here at Daytona, though, it is going to go up in smoke here early for him. And this damage model, it is not forgiven for hits on those front tires.
It is not at all. As you see the 4 trying to slow down. You see that front right. It's bouncing. It is not supposed to be doing that. That is a broke suspension for the 4. He's going to have to come in. That is required damage. As what we call a meatball flag. It's a black flag with an orange circle in the middle, and that is an indication to the drivers that you have to come into pit road to get damage repaired. Luckily for that of Hale, he does have the fast repair, but he's got to use that fast repair and get back out on track as soon as possible because he's already going to be going a lap down.
Yeah, I was hoping there maybe he would have elected not to take tires and fuel, but he was already down there. I think he figured it was best to just go ahead and get that done, since most likely when these guys caught him, he wouldn't have been that well up to speed yet. They would have gone by anyway. So this might have been the right decision, but he's going to be going multiple laps down here because he's going to be caught all by himself here on the racetrack. He's got the hope to really get in line with that second pack that was about 12 seconds, or about 15 seconds back from a leader now.
And what makes it even worse is that he's not even the first driver a lap down. He's going to be the second driver again because of that. Brandon Pierce deciding to start on pit road. He had already gone a lap down. He's part of the second pack that's running about 17th and 18th place is where that 38 is lying, as some drivers are starting to figure out where they want to go for themselves, because it's major issues for that of Aaron Hale. Many of other drivers got to be concerned. I think for sure Ryan Lynch in the 3, he's got to be a little bit worrisome on the fact of how much damage he grabbed from his issues, as drivers are getting ready to roll out, and up front they still are getting a little bit antsy. But what went from a pack of that of 19 drivers, we're now down to just a group of 16.
Yeah, they're slowly one by one just getting kicked out of this pack here, and here we're going to see the outside line try to do something else and form something up. You're going to have that 36 there up top with the 21 machine there trying to move their way forward. Ross Tatum and Will Bustler, but also that outer groove there in the third lane is real board with the 12 machine of Andrew Medlin. He's going for it here. Now going to drop back into this middle lane. Luckily, he got by with the help of Kyle McCoy, but McCoy going to be left up out to dry in that third lane. Is now Bustler going to drop low. That'll let McCoy slide in behind Medlin here, but you get to see a good shot here. These cars still very tough to see what is going on in front of you when you're behind that car. Luckily, he can see a good portion to the left there, that lane. But when you're on that bottom lane stuck up behind somebody, it's tough to see.
You're just trusting everything in line. If one driver wrecks, you hope that it gets communicated through and you got enough time to react. Right now, it's going to be that of Sargent up front in the 94, as still riding on the board with Cameron Sargent, seeing that outside lane, and exactly what you're talking about, it giving a bump and you get that surge, and it certainly was coming, but a late lock from the 94 trying to hold off that momentum from the outer lane.
Yeah, and he's changing lanes too. He's going from one lane to another, and this is very impressive to see. He saw that outer lane coming. He covered off that run that the 21 machine had there of Tatum, and really slowed that whole lane down, and they're going backwards. And once he had checked that run up, he goes back to the bottom and gets it formulated up. So great job by him, but here comes that outside once more. They drop back a little bit, but Andrew Medlin and McCoy there powering this 21 forward.
And that block on the outside, it accordioned all the way through that outside group, and it almost caused a wreck further back. That of Ken MacArthur did get put in the outside wall. Same can be said for that of Jason Gratton and a couple of other drivers that were getting close to the outer lane. So they've got to be careful, but a driver that looks to be potentially losing the grab, if he cannot keep up with speed, it looks like he's getting that surge. But Martin Perry almost losing the pack. We're still got 16 drivers in this group, but they're rallying up that speed, and here comes that of Sargent. Will he try to decide to do another block that could be causing another wreck?
Yeah, we'll have to see here. It was a very aggressive block there, especially this early here in the going. But you got to try things here at Daytona, and if you can get the timing right, it usually works out. Luckily, he did, and the group behind him reacted. But there he went to go do it. He saw it wasn't going to work. He had to go back down to the bottom lane. And look at this, the 21 Ross Tatum here takes the lead.
Ross Tatum given an opportunity, now going to be up front. Andrew Medlin giving the shove, and as well Kyle McCoy going to be attached as well, all flying and moving forward. And for the 12 of Andrew Medlin, just ducking it down low, now going to be leading that inside lane.
I love that move from Andrew Medlin. We'll have to see if it works out for him here, as he's going to have the help of the 94 Sargent, but McCoy gives a shove to the 21 on the outside. That about ended it all for everybody right there. There would have been a lot of fast repairs used. Luckily, the 21, great quick hands by him as he catches that machine on the backstretch.
As drivers are getting jostled, they're getting a little bit more antsy. We also got to keep our eyes on the laps. We're inching closer and closer to halfway, which means we're inching closer and closer when these drivers might have to make pit stops, as right now, biggest mover on track is our leader, Andrew Medlin, up 17 positions from where he started.
Well, another thing too, I saw out there in the Discord chat with these guys out here before the race that they're giving $50 to the winner if this race goes caution free. So I tell you, these guys might be, thinking that through. They're saying, we could do this, guys. We could race hard, but we just got to make sure we don't make mistakes. That would be quite the feat if they're able to pull that off here tonight. But I tell you what, right now it's been great racing. The biggest thing that I'm thinking of coming up here, like you said, we're nearing that pit window. If you're going to be doing a two-stop, you're probably going to be pitting pretty soon here. But I want to see if somebody can stretch it to that 40 marker. I think it is going to be possible. It's just going to be who is going to do it.
I think if you were going to do that two-stop, you would have already came in. For the majority of these drivers, if you're staying out to lap 30 to 30, I mean, anywhere past lap 25, your goal is to make it to 40. 20 was your window if you're going to make the two-stop, and now it's trust, believe that you've got the tires, the grip, and the courage to get out there because everyone has been staying out. Only one driver has pitted. That's Aaron Hale after his absolute clobber into the outside wall that probably could have brought out a yellow, but it was not a big enough spin for the 4. We stayed green. And also that of Brandon Pierce decided to start on pit road as he'll be 1 lap down. Those are the 2 drivers that are a lap down. 34 drivers took the grid, and only 32 still on the lead lap currently, as this lead pack going to be 15 drivers now, as Doug Pierce is like starting to hope that he gets a little bit more help, as Nate Lynch has lost the lead draft to 25 going backwards, and it seems like every 2 to 3 laps we lose another driver that's up front.
Yeah, it's actually very easy to lose this draft here with this package. You know, a lot of people don't think that it'd be that easy. Oh no, they're the big incident. They're wrecking up front here, boys. And somehow we stayed not yellow, but that's going to be a big one there.
There's the yellow. It's going to be Ogle getting spun around for that 83, and that's what brings out the yellow. And I believe it could have been that of seeing a lap car kind of giving the spooks to some drivers, and just everyone else reacting, and up front wasn't clear, and that just took out the rest of the field. But this is going to cause a couple of more drivers have to use their fast repair.
Yeah, that was go back to that freaky fast replay that you're gonna see here. This is from Thomas Ogle's points. It's already started to transpire up ahead of him, and what it really came down to is Tatum trying to get to the bottom lane. The 12 of Medlin had the big run and could not check up in time. Got into the back of the 21. Then from there, he gets up into the other cars. And Thomas Ogle, though, look at that major damage on that car. It's just a unfortunate incident. There is even Sarton going around for himself, too, in that machine, that 94 machine.
And just more and more carnage being tacked on. 3 drivers with required damage. Will Bustler, Cameron Sarton, and Thomas Ogle all going to be involved with this wreck. They'll have to come into pit road, use their fast repair, but this is great for the 38 of Brandon Pierce. He will be the lucky dog driver getting his lap back, and the rest of the drivers, they now get placed into a questionable spot because, Zach, this is right outside the window. It's too far for them to make it on one stop from here.
Yeah, it is too far to make it on one stop from this point. So this really puts them in a predicament, as we would say, and you're still going to see them all come down. This is a free pit stop right here. Come down, get the tires, get the fuel if you want now. You could come down later, hit a splash of fuel at the end of this race, possibly, just to finish it out. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But, yeah, this is not the optimal timing if they want to caution here to make their strategies perfect. But it'll definitely shake a little bit of things up here and give guys opportunities to do different things.
As drivers are taking off, it's going to be seen that Ross Tatum, believe, missing his box for the 21. So he'll have to come back into pit road. But of those that got service done, Kyle McCoy, Ken Campbell, Christopher Wade, going to be the top 3 drivers out of pit road. And as the drivers getting rolling, as this is our first caution, we're going to step aside real quick. When we come back, going to be more racing action here for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series for Season 5. The first race of the season for the Daytona 200 here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We'll be back in just a few.
Drivers, start your engines!
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. I have no way grip whatsoever. I'm sideways.
sideways everywhere. Come on, man. Do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting for that of the Stars and Stripes Cup Series, presented by Sharp Apparel, Next Level Racing, and ButtKicker. As it's the season 5 opener here at Daytona for the Daytona 200. We're back to Green Flag Racing. It's Ken Campbell as well, going to be on the inside of Kyle McCoy, running strong as a little bit of shuffling. That of the 15 decides, you know what, I'll take the inside lane. Scott Rickard, our shootout winner from last week, you can take the outside lane in the lead.
Yeah, Scott Rickard been kind of mired back after starting on the pole. Now going to charge back up to the front with the help of his teammate Kyle Bolin up top there. And now you're going to have that 7 and the 15 there working together on the bottom lane there to see what they can do to charge back forward. Can give some information. Ross Tatum there, who was involved in that incident, he was still the leader, but missed his pit box there on the entry coming down to pit road. So had to come back another time there. He's back in the 27th position.
Also, another driver that's been up front involved with that incident, Cameron Sarton, going to be 1 lap down, back in 33rd position. Will Bustler going to be 2 laps down for that 36 machine, as drivers are racing on. Going to be that of Brandon Pierce, who's going to be, that of Aaron Hale. Took the wave around the 4, back on the lead lap, but he's back in 32nd position.
Yeah, and can't confirm on those guys. They had to take a tow to pit road. They couldn't make it back, unfortunately. So they had to take that tow. That is what took them so long to get back out there on the racetrack. And unfortunate for those two. But this race still plenty of time to go. And I tell you what, I don't think that's the last yellow we're going to see for the night. Is now Ken Campbell once again leads that inside lane to the lead.
The lead and getting a major push from our 3-time championship winner of this series, Kyle McCoy, who's trying to go for 3 in a row if he can win the championship this season. But certainly looking for one of his best super speedway finishes of the season. He has yet to win a super speedway race for the 7 of Kyle McCoy, and I think that's one of the tracks and specialist tracks that I think Kyle McCoy would love to finally get on his roster here for the Stars and Stripes series, because he's practically won everything else.
Yeah, I tell you what, if he ends up winning this race, that'll have to be something we have to ask him, how big this is to win the first one here, because that is a very interesting stat. Some drivers, this is their playground. Some drivers, are good here, really good play drivers, but this comes down a lot of times putting yourself in the right position here and a lot of luck. McCoy, though, making the big move there with the side draft, really slowed the inside lane down. Look at Scott Rickard coming with the head of steam there. That was a giant one. That actually puts him in the middle. Man, a big moment there for Kyle McCoy, trying to go for the lead. Now trying to jump down to the inside lane. And Sam, you're right. Oh, boy, that could have been it for everybody.
And I got to give big kudos to that of Doug Pierce, who just had to hold on to that wheelmanship because he saw the 7 just duck right in front of him and had to let off just slightly, but that could have been a giant wreck in an incident. And I got to say, for Kyle McCoy, he's just playing with everyone up here in the top 10. He was leading, purposely moved up, got that run to scare everyone on the outside lane, and it's now spooked everyone. They've had to back off, and this is so interesting to watch because Kyle McCoy, he's trying to do the same move again.
Yeah, trying to do the same move again. That one was from second. You know, you would think he knows Christopher Wade not going to go with him there when he ducks out. So he went for the big side draft move. He side drafted that 15, slowed him way up. He almost actually got a full half a car ahead, just couldn't clear there because of the Crystal Wade behind that 15 to help bring that speed back up. But McCoy there tried to jump to the outside lane, didn't really check everything up, and now we're seeing here from Scott Rickards. They fell a ways back here, but I tell you what, these two getting locked up together could be a good thing. I see that Kyle Bowling there directly behind. These three together, in my opinion, should start to move forward and help this line move.
And you think of the last 2 seasons and, consistency. These have been the 3 most consistent drivers throughout the past couple of seasons. Interested to see how well they can ride. As you see further back, this is the second pack that's starting to grow. And we saw earlier the second pack, that's the fact they were side by side for so long, they really lost the draft and going to be led by the 83 of Thomas Ogle. They've already lost the draft, 2.5 seconds off from that of second to third place. And Thomas Ogle involved with that last wreck, obviously hopes that he can get a little bit more extra speed, and he might need another caution if he wants to catch up to our lead pack.
Yeah, I think a few of these guys in this group are the group that had to use their fast repairs, so they're going to sit back here and try to survive all this here as we look back up into this pack up here. There's still 2x2 here with this group really trying to make something happen. As you got Timmy McNally up top there and his machine behind Kyle Boland. Had a great season last season. Didn't have the playoffs he wants here, but running good right now. Starting at 19th position up to the 12th spot there on the top lane. But big movement from that bottom lane there is McCoy getting back into the inside. McCoy is, you got to love Kyle McCoy. He has never given up, now back to the outside lane. It's just constant using of the runs he has here. He's just out there having a good time.
And as we're now halfway through our Daytona 200, got to be thinking for this 7. I mean, how much is he trying to learn from this? Is the only, he's playing with everyone around there. He's having fun, making this race a little bit more interesting for himself and everyone around. But I think also at the same time, he's got to be taking a lot of different lessons with these really gutsy moves that he's doing up front right now.
Yeah, I like what he's doing. He keeps getting out, side drafting a person on the bottom. It slows that person off, breaks off that third car. That Doug Pierce. How did he hold on to that thing? Now as McCoy sliding back towards them again, he's got the jump to the bottom lane. This is interesting action here, Sam. These guys are really trying to experiment, especially that 7 machine, with what type of runs he can get with himself.
And Doug Pierce, you saw him hold on. That slick track we were talking about how hot it is. Certainly one of the factors that got that 39 loose. And as well, I mean, Zach, I think that's one of the big things with the old gens and all the other stock cars. This racetrack really didn't seem like it would get extremely loose out of the corners, but this Gen 7 Cup machine, it is extremely loose, it seems like, out of turn 4 especially.
Yeah, it's the banking transition. It really falls away there off of turn 4 here, coming down the front straightaway. And for whatever reason, this car, when you unload it, it does not like any type of yaw. And if you have any type of yaw in that car, a little bit of sideways to the left pointing, it will turn to the left immediately. And it is very hard to catch. And that hot temperature only increases that factor of the grip level lower, so it happens sooner. And I've already seen a few guys have that moment. We've seen Doug Pierce there slide off of 4. I've seen a few other guys almost literally wreck. I believe Philip Chavez was the one I caught earlier. He actually had to go through the grass. So it is very loose off of 4. You got to watch that wheel get light there coming off. Well, these drivers have done a good job so far to manage that. But Right now, everybody testing everything. Scott Rickard, he's going to put Kyle McCoy back in the middle there as this is going to get 3 wide here. And these guys are really starting to have a little bit of a big moment.
3 wide scare, but now in what we call the sucker hole in the middle, going backwards. It's going to be Kyle McCoy, but he's found an opening to the high side, so he'll take it. If there's any type of an opening high-low, then Seven's going to go for that opening, and luckily he's going to have that George Kosick behind him trying to help out as these drivers continue to race on for that of Kyle McCoy. Certainly helps to have a rival team help you, as it's going to be seen, that of Kosick going to be part of Team Misfit, which is the team, if we look at just raw pace from Super Speedway, certainly a team that's top tier. You got Brian Chu, who's won at the Super Speedway, like I talked about back at Season 2 here at Daytona. You've got Scott Rickard, who won the shootout last week. You've got Kyle Bowling, who's been one of the most notorious best pushers of every single series. But this 65 of George Kosick, kind of the wild card of unknowingness of what he's going to bring as a factor. But right now, it's good to see him up in the top 10.
Yeah, he's had a great day. 26th to 9th there. Has really climbed his way through. I mean, you look back to Brian Burchett, even 36th to 11th. So we've had a few guys, along with Brian Chu there, and Brian Burchett, those both two from 35th, 36th there, and 11th and 13th. Those two have really made big moves through this field, and that caution has helped bring him back into this action as we're looking at this 25 Nate Lynch, who at one time had lost the draft. Now back here hanging on one of the last cars, only 2 cars behind him, looking to ride it out here possibly and wait until his perfect moment to pounce. But it's definitely, I think you got so many different things going on with drivers, so many different agendas. Some drivers are back here just trying to hang on, and you got some drivers trying to make moves like Kyle McCoy. That's when you get incidents, and right now, Nate Lynch in a good spot to miss anything if anything happens here with not a few cars behind him.
Yeah, and you easily can back out of any situation that's in front of you, and that's the big perk of staying behind. As other drivers back here, got the 9 of Patrick Hastings, who has been, one of the drivers known for kind of being, a back marker of sorts, a driver that's running in the back most weeks. He's had some good weeks where he'll finish up in the top 15. Oh no! Contact Hastings. Commentators curse, it strikes, and it's going to be Brian Burchett that gets involved with them. I thought I could praise him. Instead, it's been that luck on why the 9 has struggled so many seasons, but we stay green as the 9 as well as that of the 33 are on the apron and finally getting moving.
Yeah, that went all the way down the racetrack, so no caution there for that incident.
Oh, and drivers up front. That of our pole sitter going to be having issues for himself.
Somehow they've saved this. The caution's finally going to fly there. Whew, that was a big moment.
As Kyle Bowling's going to be the driver, spun around. I believe that's going to be what indicates the yellow, but driver's getting loose out of the corner and all over the place. And the yellow flag will strike as the 44 will be the driver that got spun around. We'll just wait and see if we can get a replay, but you got to say there's Zach, thirdly, a wild one there for just a couple, for just officially just one lap.
Whew. Man, yeah, it literally did. Everybody was just getting loose. That was crazy. You seen the 33 of Burchett lose it off of 4. Now you're going to see here, Scott Rickard here coming off of turn 2. This rear end is just going to step out from underneath him, and somehow he just does a good job of catching it, but that's just going to cause the incident from here on back. Kyle Bowling, though, this guy right here, he could have had a major incident happen. I'm sure he is very shook by what just went down for him, because he could have had a major incident, somehow gets through it pretty decently here, as you're going to see he's going to have a little bit of off-road excursion here.
It's hit once on the side, then on the rear end, holds on. He's still loose, still trying to not hit anyone else, and then it just snaps and able to just drift it through the grass. And luckily, hey, you got the backstretch chicane that's able to slow him down a little bit more as the 44 then gets back onto the road course surface and utilizes that asphalt to get back onto the racing track as our pole sitter, that is Scott Rickard, the 05, gets loose, hits the 44 as you saw on the replay, and it's going to be the 44 that brings out our second yellow of the evening. And this is right around that time here, Zach, where the drivers, they should be good to make it to the end now.
Yeah, should be good to make it to the end, like you said here, Sam. This is perfect timing for him here. Actually, gonna really help him out here. So this could be the money stop here, boys. This is gonna be very, very wild here. Man, I tell you what, there's gotta be a few drivers shook from that caution.
They certainly are, as drivers are getting through their boxes, hoping not to make any mistakes. It was Ross Tatum, if we remember, that missed his box going through, and now he'll have to find his way all the way through this field. Looks like a lot of drivers up front deciding to take 2 tires and not take fuel, which is an interesting call for themselves, as the drivers are getting rolling and ready to go. I mean, if anything, it's got to be talking to the driver that came out first, Jason Grattan, who decided to go with a different move for himself. Interesting call to decide to go into a position of, going with only 2 tires. I like the call from that 91 team. So we're going to be pulling him up in the booth and get a sense of what Jason Grattan has got for us, because I got to say, that team, obviously for Grattan, he would love to find himself into victory lane, but certainly a good run for himself. But Jason, Grattan, it's going to be Sam and Zach up in the booth. You got us?
What's up, Sam and Zach? How you guys doing?
All doing all right. You went with a different move out there. What was the mindset of trying to go with 2 tires instead of 4?
Talking with Randy and Zach, just trying to decide whether or not, a bunch of people were going to go for 2. The initial thought was wanting tires because it's super loose right now, about 10-15 laps in. But I don't know, I just had to shoot for something different. Didn't want there to be a big group of people taking 2 tires and losing all that track position. So we'll see.
Well, Zach, you got any questions for Jason before we let him back into his call?
Yeah, Jason, man, I tell you what, how much does this caught y'all off guard here tonight with how loose it is? It's very hot out here on the track. Has this been something that's kind of surprised a few of y'all?
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't tell you a time I've ever ran a plate race that's been this loose. When we had about a 15-car breakaway, I was riding in the back of the lead pack and just hanging out in the back trying to maintain the draft, and I got loose out of 4. Just chilling. So it's definitely loose. It's like I said, I wanted to go 4 there for the comfort. After that first pit stop, it was a night and day difference after having those 4 fresh tires. But at the same time, didn't want to be the one guy that took 4 when everybody took 2 and lose the track position. So we'll see how it goes.
We'll let you get to your track. Good luck here, Jason, as we're about to go green.
All right, thanks, guys.
As that was Jason Grattan, who's going to be having the control here on this restart, as he's going to have his teammate Randy Cornwell to the inside. And gotta say, this team looking different, and honestly a little bit of a shakeup from that Graham Roberts Racing, or that of GRR. And we'll see how well they can get this restart going, as it is green once again here for the Daytona 200. And immediately, Grattan's going to drop down low. Great start for himself. And you can kind of see, Zach, how they wanted to get that restart played out for each other.
Yeah, he wanted to get down there in front of Randy Cornwell there, his teammate, and he did a good job over there now as King Campbell going to be dropping back. And, the one thing I take away from that interview there talking to Jason, it must be very, very loose for these guys. I know we've seen it break loose a few times already ourselves, but it sounded like he was very, very worried about that. And you don't hear that much when you head to Super Speedway Racing. People worried about the handling and the balance and their tires even at a racetrack like this. So this is awesome to see here tonight, that the conditions out here really affecting these drivers.
And also, guys, an update for some drivers further on back, that of Brian Burchett, still in pit road for the 33. 5 laps down, about to be 6 laps down. Will Bustler still 1 lap down, but he is with the lead pack currently. He's going to need another caution to get back onto the lead lap. 32 drivers in total on the lead lap, but we might be down to just 31. Paul House is slow and looks like might be heading to pit road.
Oh no, Paul House. Yeah, it's unfortunate to see. Man, oh man, you want to see that guy start off his season well. Has had some good runs here in this series, but here starting tonight, this cup series, he is gonna have to come to pit road here and see what he'll be getting done with that race car. But man, unfortunate for Paul House, but it's Jason Gratton now with that lead up front, and it's going to be Brian Chu leading that outside lane. We talked about Chu all night long. Could this be his chance to get his win here? This could be it, man, because he did it before in season 2. Why not do it again here this season?
But he's got to watch out. Here comes Christopher Wade, and Chris Wade has been so strong at helping other drivers. He was so selfless, helping out Ken Campbell week after week. Well, this could be the season, a little bit of a swap. Can Christopher Wade be selfish? But once again, he's dealing with the driver that's been testing all the different strategies this season. It's Kyle McCoy, who's going to be pushing that 53 so far out. Here comes the run again from the back of the field.
Yeah, I think Kyle McCoy, like we said, he's been tested every single thing possible, and he's been making things work because of that. He knows what to do in what situation, and right now McCoy, I think if it comes down to the end of this race, he's going to be the one to watch out for. If stuff starts to happen, he knows what he needs to do to make a pass, and he's been able to do some pretty big pushes also as Christian Wade. Having a big moment there. Got to be careful with these guys. And now Cornwell in the 22 machine, he's going to jump up top and try to make something happen for himself.
There were a bunch of drivers that we have talked about that were lingering back. Well, now it's their opportunity. We're past halfway. They feel like they want to get moving forward. Going to be having that of the 88 M&M's machine of Tim McNally. He's starting to make some moves. They're going to go 3 wide as that of Cornwell going to be stuffed in the middle and going in the wrong direction, and they're wrecking further back.
Oh, yeah, big wreck there. It's actually going to only be more cars involved now. Yellow going to continue to collect a few more there. Sam, his third one of the night, and it's, I think, only going to get more aggressive from here.
Well, we talk about drivers having, a little bit of issues further on back, but I got to say, looking back from my screen, something broke for the 4. That of Aaron Hale, who had to use a fast repair earlier on in the race, but something did not go right in the center of the corner. Watch out for this 4 machine. He's going to get a major push from the 2, comes down, makes contact with some other drivers, and just continues to try to stay on the grass to minimize that damage. But a lot of frustration there with drivers being piled in there late.
Yeah, it was kind of an accordion effect. They had a checkup in front of Aaron Hale, and the 12 coming in there a little bit late there, getting that damage, but yeah, man, that accordion effect that happened up ahead of him, Hell checks up, the 2 of Lynch can't, and so he's got Kovacic even right behind him, and man, that was a huge shot. It did look like something broke there for a moment, Sam, for even me, because that was just very, very wild. And then Scott Rickard, he had really nowhere to go as he was just going through the glass, couldn't get slowed down. He comes back and collects a few others. So our pole setter involved in another one here is we're getting another good look at this. This is unfortunate to see here, man, for these guys that were having some good runs now involved in this.
As we were riding on board there with the 30, and here's that late entry from that of the Special Olympics machine, 12 of Medlin running into Robinson, and Joshua Robinson in the 30. That is obviously what he doesn't want to see. Luckily, he still has a fast repair for the 30 machine, but there were a couple of drivers involved with that one that don't or had to utilize one. Sam Siegel had to use a fast repair, but here comes the rest of the drivers into pit road that were able to at least be in a drivable state until now. Drivers with required damage going to be Philip Chavez as well as Brian Burchett. Burchett's been in pit road for now 10 minutes. 10 laps down is the 33. And an update for Paul House. We saw go into pit road. The 18 has parked it, and that was a big struggle of the 18 last season. He started out coming in late in the season, and then he wasn't able to finish races. I think that might be the same struggle coming into tonight for the 18 machine as drivers are exiting pit road.
Yeah, drivers starting to get themselves back out there, and it'll be interesting to see, even getting tires. I know if a lot of those guys coming down for damage repair, but we've seen tires be a pretty big issue here tonight for guys, so maybe another time for them to come down, get another set of tires. We had 4 here available tonight, so they had 3 in pit road. So they could technically be looking to run out of tires here pretty quickly with how valuable they've been here tonight for a few guys. So we'll have to definitely watch out how that plays. But, man, this season is starting off with a bang, Sam, and I tell you what, we're going to have a long one with a lot of different new drivers here involved, I think.
Yeah, because now we're inside of that window. Less than 30 laps to go. We're now into 25 laps to go, soon to be 24. And this is that aspect of you have to go now. If you're inside of the top 10, you can still wait. But for those drivers that are in 11th on back to that going to be now 31st position, you have to be aggressive, have to be moving as fast as possible to get forward. And if you don't, you're going to be stuck just watching everyone else go for a win while you're just going to hope for a big wreck and to gain as many positions as possible in that white flag.
Yeah, very seldom at Daytona do you see the person come from really farther back than 10th, like you're saying, Sam. I mean, you have to be positioned well up there at the right time to make the right move. And if you're sitting back there, you know, in 15th, 16th, 17th position like that, you're kind of in the traffic jam. There's really nowhere to go. Once, especially everybody starts trying to get to that third lane, once we see 3 wide here at Daytona, it is pretty tough to go anywhere. You know, 2 wide, you do have the availability to go up to that top lane, but do you have someone go with you? That's going to be the question that you have to ask yourself also. But once it gets 3 wide here, this place is stacked up, man. You cannot go anywhere. It is a traffic jam. It's like LA traffic or something. So it definitely has been interesting to watch this race so far, but I think it's only going to get a little more stacked up. So you need to get up there, like you said, track position wise, if you want to have a shot for this win here tonight.
Well, there was Air Force One coming down for a landing very quickly there behind the screen as the driver's about to get roaring as we are getting set. We are about to see how the drivers are going to be able to attack and handle here as we're about to go for just 23 more laps. But if we get later in this race, we do have 1 overtime attempt. That's it. So these drivers, they better hope that they can finish this out green under regulation. Otherwise, it's going to get even more chaotic if we have to go into overtime. Third caution of the day. Let's see how these drivers can get this restart done. Pace car is off, and it's time to go green for the Daytona 200. Once again, we're past halfway. We're soon to be past our 3/4 marker as it is green for that of Christopher Wade, that of Kyle McCoy and Jason Gratton, and as well, Zach, that going to be the rookie of the 46 of Zach Kreitz, who's coming in with a charge on the inside.
Yeah, we'll see what Kreitz has here in his 46 machine as he's made his first real appearance up here in the front. As remember, he's teammates with Randy Cornwell there and Jason Gratton, so they'll be looking to work together here coming down to the end. But the outside lane looks to have the numbers and the momentum at the moment as McCoy going to get the shove from Brian Chu outside. He's going to have Cornwell also up there. McNally also coming up into the picture, and also the 3 of Ryan Lynch. He's making his first appearance right up here.
And Ryan Lynch in that 3 machine involved with the first incident that didn't bring out a yellow, but the first incident that was involved with the 4 of Aaron Hale. He was able to rebound, keep with the momentum, got enough yellows, and now I'm going to be seeing that 3 up front. And for Ryan Lynch, I think the big thing, got to give kudos, as he's the 4th car on the outside, is the fact that he never had to use a fast repair. The furthest up of a driver that's used a fast repair already going to be that of Brandon Pierce back in 14th place for the 38 machine.
Oh man, oh no, there's a car going to go low on that back apron there. That's Cameron Sarton. Looks like he's going to be backing out of it, having to get back in line here as he got shoved down there as we're heading down the back straightaway. As this pushing and shoving is only going to get a little bit more brutal as McCoy has jumped down to the bottom lane. It's going to be led on that outside lane by Jason Gratton there in the 91. He jumped up and has led this lane.
And as Jason Gratton as well is going to be seeing that as Zach Kreitz going to be working with one another. Got a Brian Chu, but for Chu, he's got to be careful. He's got Randy Cornwell on his back bumper, and you know, looking at all these drivers and the way that they're trying to cycle their way through, Cornwell now going to be seeing himself on the outside with that Tim McNally, 2 drivers that I think I'm excited to see how they're going to run this season. Tim McNally really didn't have the season he wanted last go around, but he's shown that he can be fast in previous seasons. Question is, how well can you start the season off? Will you be on the off foot, or can you be get moving? As that of gonna be Kyle McCoy once again, testing to see who's gonna trust the 7.
Yeah, and I think Christopher Wade said, you know what, this guy's been making moves, I'm going to do the same. He goes with him there, jumps up in front of Randy Cornwell as this outside line got 2 new drivers up top. Here comes Gratton to block the runoff, but look at this, 7 go to the inside with the crossover. What a big move heading into 1.
Dig one side, dig the other, and then you just get yourself up front. Down to Kyle McCoy, great moves for himself. 20 laps to go as we're side by side, but for how long? It's starting to look a little bit more of deja vu from last week. Here's Zach. They're 3 wide in the middle of this field.
Yeah, you're going to have Ryan there in the middle there. Ryan Lynch in the 3. He's in the first one. Cornwell up top, 3 wide. And you're going to have these drivers fighting for every bit of position on this racetrack there as they come off of 4. It's getting a little dicey there as even the 46 looks Kreitz there getting a little loose behind the 7 as now the 91 is going to have a nose ahead here as they cross the line.
Brandon strong for now, but how strong can he be? He's got Christopher Wade, who I feel like if it's not a teammate in front of him, he's going to be upset if he's pushing anyone else further ahead. But we're going to be 3 wide, 2 rows deep, almost 3 rows deep, as they're going to be bouncing off one another. It is chaotic in the middle of the pack. Nate Lynch, Martin Perry, they've got to be careful back there battling for 15th, 16th position, as up front it is getting a little bit more of a cycle and a protective moment, but certainly we almost had another big one strike.
Business is picking up here at Daytona. Everybody looking for any bit of lane here to go for it as they come off of 4. It's going to only be 2 lanes of racing right now, but we've seen that 3rd lane already be utilized. Ken Campbell was jumping up there in the 15 back there in the Under Armour machine in that bright car. And we'll see who is going to do it again. He's got his teammate Ross Tatum also behind him as that outside lane goes up high there in the corners. It's going to be the 3 of Lynch there trying to make a move. He's going to get to the back of Chu. That's going to check up that outside lane there. You're going to see a big accordion effect here is now Campbell going to have to back out along with Tatum. Luckily, everybody heads up there and we stay green.
But they're not safe just yet. That of Ryan Lynch and Ryan Chu, they are still on top of one another. And that's that accordion effect we were just talking about. It continues to cycle all the way back. And there's some strong contenders still mired in the middle of this group. I mean, Ken Campbell, last season's winner, that of Ross Tatum, one of the drivers I'm most curious on how he's going to really race this season as a rookie. And as well, Kyle Bulling, they're going to be back in this field around that of 16th back to 18th place. They need to find a little bit more space and momentum to get moving forward. But up front, they're single filed out for at least our front 5. Then they're double filing up with that of Chu and Pierce.
Yeah, this is great racing we got going on. It seems like that inside lane can get about 6 or 7 cars out and hold that pace there for a while, but that outside lane's forming up 3 wide now. Ken Campbell will be the first one to take it up top. He's going to have his teammate Tatum there, but in the middle, they're going to be making contact. Hoffman goes around and Kreitz goes up.
Kreitz going to be involved. More drivers spinning around. The yellow flag still has not been thrown. We continue to stay green. I don't know how we're still green, but we are. They get all straightened out. We continue to roll. And for Nate Lynch, who probably could have been the one that brought up the yellow, doesn't. We stay green, and finally the yellow flag strikes. And as drivers in the middle half of the field decide to find them ways to drive slow enough, the yellow flag has to be thrown.
That right there, Sam, very surprising. Usually the iRacing, caution system will trigger from something like that. That one was definitely on the edge there for iRacing system.
As here's the instant replay, you're going to see both this of the Lynches next to one another. There's the over contact. You see the 20 hooked into Kreitz, and they cannot get off one another until they get into the wall. Hard contact for the 8 and many others of Chavez, and as well coming in here later into the action is going to be the 0-5 of seeing that of Rickard backing off and not getting himself in trouble, but pandemonium here with about 15 laps to go, but the racing isn't over yet.
No, the racing isn't over yet there, but I feel like this that caution right there with it not really triggering a caution till really almost this moment right here. I think this is the perfect time to give a shout out to one of our newest sponsors here at Freaky Fast. Is they would have definitely been able to help out, I think, possibly with that there. Luckily, the caution did get thrown, but we want to give a definite shout out to one of our newest sponsors, and that is Admin Box. What is Admin Box? Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers, and the goal of it is to have league and hosted races be able to be a race control as easy as possible. They have pre-programmed commands, no key bindings, with LED backlighting with buttons that are highly visible in any situation that you can desk mount. And they just came out their version 2, so you make sure you want to head out there and check out Admin Box, and that is Admin Box with 2 X's in box.com. And you can over there and use our promo code FFB-box with 2 X's there to get a discount code on your Admin Box, and you'll have race control at your fingertips.
Well, I think another thing that they would need after using their admin box is got to be that of the iRacing iFlag. iRacing iFlag is a iFlag virtual flag system, which if we had seen the yellow flag come out, it would have given you that indication as well. It would have given you other states of the track if it was still green or not. And as well, other amazing features that you can get from iRacing iFlag is going to be their digital pit boards. Gives you tons of information, such as track temp, weather conditions, as well as how much fuel you have left per lap, as well as your 5-lap usage average. So much great information to be given for you from your iRacing iFlag, and it really is a great way to enhance your sim racing experience. Go use our promo code at iRacingIFlag.com, which is FreakyFast2022. Okay, you've got 2 systems. You might need a third to attach to yourself, which is going to be that of ButtKicker. Also affiliated with here of the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. It's a system that attaches to your racing rig. Instead of just hearing sounds, it physically moves and makes you feel the sounds of all the action. You want to feel if your tires are slipping and sliding. You want to feel if there's a giant wreck that you're a part of. Go get yourself a game or 2 from that of ButtKicker. Use our promo code FreakyFast20 for 20% off. All right, you got your admin box. You've got yourself an iRacing iFlag system. Also, you got your pit board. You've also got your ButtKicker. Well, you need to attach it to something, and that's where you go over to Advanced Sim Racing. Advanced Sim Racing is practically the eBay of getting yourself a racing sim rig. They've got themselves a chassis that you can purchase, as well as monitor stands, steering wheels, and much, much more. To be grabbed, go use our promo code FreakyFast5 for 5% off. And then once you have all of that, you're ready to go. Get onto iRacing, get racing, and you can find yourself in one of the leagues that we broadcast here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Zach, it's now go time. If you're going to come into pit road, it's most likely to use that fast repair or going to be getting some tires or fuel. But we're getting to the end where drivers got to be thinking you have to be up front just in case we get into an overtime situation.
Yeah, I'm getting nervous for him, man. My leg is starting to get a little restless and jumping up and down as this is getting down. Like I said, it's business time. These drivers got to do everything in their power here to get up in position. I mean, you're not going to make that final move that wins you this race most likely till under 3 to go or possibly 5 to go. But I tell you what, you'll be making moves right now that set you up to put you in that position for that job. But man, guys that are farther back, they do have the option to come down, but I think everybody pretty much from 15th on forward, they're solidified where they're at. They're saying, you know what, we got to go up here and try to hold on as much track position as we can. I need to go forward, not backwards. So pit road was out of the option for them. But right now, Stratton going to have control. Remember that restart zone. We haven't seen it, have no problems yet tonight with any drivers getting black flags. But could it come down to the end here where a driver gets a little too antsy? We'll have to see. You can't jump that gun.
You can't jump it. And another thing, if you are up in the top 5, you got an opportunity to win this race. You think back to last week, it was that Scott Rickard who was in the top 5 when they had their big wreck. Pandemonium struck, and it was a 0-5 that won last week. But here tonight, we're coming to the final 12 laps of tonight's race, and we're green as they're already going to be single filing up front. Is it going to be Jason Gratton once again? A fabulous start for the 91.
Yeah, Gratton did a great job there to cover off any type of run. Now he's going to have the help of Christopher Wade, and what we've seen at plate races, that's the guy you want to have help from. So early in the going here to start this restart, he's got the person that he needs behind him. But Kyle McCoy there, that third car in the bottom lane, he's not going to be waiting too long. He gives the shove to Wade here, as now that bottom lane has to check up major there, as you're going to see Pierce at the back out of it along with Ken Campbell. This is going to cause a checkup from back here. These drivers got to check up. They did a great job, though, of not getting involved in anything. There's now Tatum making a move, the 21 there making a move.
And that's going to be Ross Tatum, who's going to be coming forward for himself. Ross Tatum cutting his way and carving up in front of that Ryan Lynch. Now going to be moving up to 7. Biggest mover so far, up 20 positions. It's that of Ryan Lynch in the 3. It's been caught up in a couple of wrecks so far, but it's that of Ross Tatum as well as Ken Campbell. They were stuck back in 15th to 20th range. Weren't able to really get any momentum. Well, now they're up into the top 10, right where they need to be to make this late charge for a win.
Yeah, and Ryan Lynch is going to jump out in front of those two, so I think that's a good call to make. Two strong cars to hop up there on the outside line, now add a third to it, and they're going to have 5 cars stacked up on top of each other heading off into 3, and now the help comes from behind, but they're going to drop low there, not to help that outside line. But it's going to be 4 cars out front broken away, but it's side by side from there on. The side drafts are going to get bigger and bigger here, so watch for the big movement.
With 70 laps down, 30 cars are on the lead lap. In the last driver on the lead lap, Will Bustler back in 36th position. But up front, we're starting to see some new names start to trickle in. That of being Brandon Pierce, also Ken MacArthur. They're cracking into the top 10. Patrick Hastings, who was involved with the wreck earlier, he's now going to be cracking upside the top 15. It's all about recovery, and we're starting to see those that had saved their fast repairs. They're now starting to get in the right position, but it's going to be our top 4. Single file out for a quick moment, but it's side by side for 5th. Lynch, Glass, who's going to get it done?
We're going to have to see, coming to 9 to go, 30 drivers still on the lead lap, only separated by 2.5 seconds. And I tell you what, after the race, you ain't going to want to miss it, because we're going to have the post-race show here at Freaky Fast where we talk to your top 3 drivers and get their thoughts and emotions from this race, because I tell you what, it's about to get pretty emotional here in the next few moments here as they head down the back, down through 1 and 2. Timmy McNally there going to lead that outside line. We'll see what he can do there as he's going to have the help of Lynch. As Lynch jumps to the outside, aggressive move there to go 3 wide. Now he's going to have the help of Ken Campbell along with Ross Tatum. McNally in the sucker hole.
And everyone's trying to pick and choose. They want to help the 88, and they're not. Now McNally able to find an opening. He'll drop to 13th place as that outside lane, seeing that of Ryan Lynch. Also going to see Ken Campbell and Ross Tatum. Those 3 drivers have made some pretty bold moves, but you can see the movement and everyone trying to get in the right positioning for themselves. It is starting to get a little bit more aggressive up front, and drivers recognizing we've got to get in the right movement, but they're wrecking further back. It's the big one, striking with less than 10 laps to go.
Yeah, major wreck back here involving a major group of cars here, and it really just started with a lot of checking up, a lot of movement from drivers, and it looks like Patrick Hastings in the 9 involved right in the middle of that there with the 2 of Mike Lynch. So the 11 of Brian Chu also, so we'll have to check that out. There is just major carnage here on that front straightaway.
With the timing of this yellow, a lot of the drivers that were involved with this, I think the majority of them still had their fast repair. There's a good collection of about 12 drivers that have already used their fast repairs, but here's the incident. Talked about the aggressive side drafting, just too close, and Nate Lynch as well is going to be seeing that of Hastings crack into that of the 11 and the 22, and other drivers just piling in. There's the 24, and in a blink of an eye, there's another wreck.
Yeah, I had a feeling about that one, man. The way they were racing, coming down to the end here, they were just putting people in the sucker hole, and people were forcing their way in there too. I mean, the side drafts were really aggressive, but I see guys forcing their way in holes that, if the other driver didn't back out, there was going to be a wreck. And at some point, you're going to be the driver that doesn't back out, and you get that wreck. But that there is just an incident of a little bit of an aggressive side draft and 2 drivers getting involved in it. But 7 to go here now. Before we go back green, we should get this thing back before regulation. This, not to have any overtime here, but man, I think that overtime, it looms here very soon.
And again, that overtime is only 1 attempt. That was changed from season 3. Season 3, there were actually going to be 3 attempts, and because of how many attempts were actually being utilized, they were said, you know what, we're going to change this up. Let's just have 1 attempt. That's all that we're going to be giving these drivers. So if we go, once we go green, it's going to be that, I believe, 3 laps to go to an inside of the regulation of overtime. In regulation of green, white, checkered, we're in that zone of it's either going to be 3 laps to go or 2 laps to go when we go green. If we get a yellow immediately, we will go into overtime.
Yeah, this is setting up to be very, very aggressive here. I mean, the aggression kicks up every single restart, and the thing that's tough about these restarts here is you've got to be on it. I mean, you could literally, you'll see big, big movements on these restarts. I've seen where people come from 6th to make the move going into 1 to be the right call to jump with the cars that have the momentum, because these things getting up to speed, that is a very vulnerable time for these cars. and you're going to see drivers taking advantage of that. It's just going to be who can position with the right lane to put themselves with the right momentum at the right time, and that's the art of plate racing, man. This is gonna be fun to see. And also another cool thing I don't think we had to mention yet tonight here, but they're gonna get a die cast of their car here for winning this race. So that's a pretty cool thing, man, to have your own die cast of your car that you want to race with here in iRacing.
Yeah, that was, you threw it out there, Zach. If we had stayed caution-free, the winner was going to win $50, but with cautions or no cautions, the winner was going to get a die cast of their own car, and as well, to give a little bit of incentive for drivers to show up. A random draw will be made for all the drivers out here, $25 to one of those drivers that will be named later on in the week. But getting your own die cast of the winning car, that is always going to be something special that I love to see leagues do, of allowing these drivers to get that, memory for themselves to keep.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Sam. I know a few buddies who have a diecast of their car, and they very well enjoy that. That is something that is very memorable to them, and you can definitely say, hey, man, that is something I drove right there into victory lane, and it'd be very cool to show people that probably don't understand the full aspect of iRacing and the simulation here that we got going on, but it's always cool to have stuff to remember your race wins with. But I tell you what, they're getting double filed up now. This is the time where the nervous feelings start to kick in. You got to start finding your friends here. That's going to be the big thing. We've seen Christopher Wade. I mean, each and every time we've been at Super Speedway, he has been the driver that you want to get hooked up with. We've seen Grattan immediately did it there, but then you got Kyle McCoy there in third, who's been making big moves. But look up in the 16th, Dylan Glass. He's won a plate race before. He's positioned himself to be right here in the mix at the end. This is going to get fun, man. Even someone like Doug Pierce, Brandon Pierce, who started on pit road back there in 6th, Sam, he's got a chance for this thing. So this is going to be super fun to watch who pulls it off here in the Final Four.
Drivers that have won this race before in the past. Season 4 Daytona winner Ken Campbell from last season. Season 2 champion winner from Daytona. Gotta be that Brian Chu. Scott Rickard, our shootout winner from last week. He's got a tall task. Gonna be back in 21st position. Other Super Speedway winner, Dylan Glass, the 16. He won at Talladega back in Season 2. He wants to get back to victory lane, changing up the number, changing up the scheme. That 16's been quick. I know he's got a bunch of fans in the chat that want to see him get to victory lane. Well, he's got to survive for 4 laps, or will we go into overtime? Well, the pace car's getting us ready. Pace car's off. The Daytona 200 here for Season 5 of the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. 4 laps to go, and that is Brad's got the better launch.
Bratton here immediately going to hold the bottom lane. Looks like he was going to try to jump up to the top, but behind him is where the shenanigans are going on. The 16 of Glass jumps down to the bottom here, trying to make something happen. But Grattan, he picks Wade over to the 7 of McCoy. What is going to happen here is they go down the back straightaway here. Pierce up top with the 3 of Ryan Lynch. They're making a big run, but they're going to be making contact. They're going to be wrecking here off a 2.
Yellow flag strikes. Overtime coming up as they're still scattering around. It's going to be that of Brandon Pierce, Ryan Lynch, as well as Dylan Glass, all involved. That of Brian Chu's going to fall backwards. But drivers are frustrated with that one.
Yeah, that was definitely a little bit too jump of the early gun there, in my opinion, from the 3 of Lynch. I understand trying to make the big move there, goes to the middle on the inside of Brandon Pierce, but just gets up into him. Not enough room. You got to go lower if you're going to go to the middle of somebody there, and just could not get it done. There's even Glass, there wasn't much room there really for that 3 to be there, and that shows you when you go to make the move and then you get involved in it. Glass and Pierce, though, unfortunately for both of them, they just get caught out from running in the top 5. Now going to be well out of the mix.
Well, this is now setting up, Zach. One more restart to go here tonight. We're not into overtime just yet officially, but by the time that these laps get trickled in, we will be in overtime. But now, I mean, for these drivers up front, I'd imagine all their minds are thinking is we keep our track position. But if you're someone 16th on back that might have been involved or just saw that carnage, do you stick with your positioning, or do you think about coming in and taking those tires, especially with how loose we've been seeing everyone and how hot this track has been?
Yeah, I think personally with the way it's going to work out here, with this short little run, if you got damage and you feel like it's going to slow you down, I would come down. Tires are a huge advantage for sure, probably to give that stability to the car. But I would hope this caution here, cooling the tires down a little bit, should bring the grip levels hopefully back to them pretty well. And I would opt over track position versus the tires. But if you got damage that's going to slow you down, you need to come down here and get it fixed personally, because you're going to have one attempt at this. If a lot of people wreck, I mean, we've seen it in the other race that we did this past week in the shootout. All it takes is one big wreck, and if you can make it through that thing, you can be pretty well back there and still come out in a great position. So we'll see what happens here, but man, it's going to be a big choice for Jason Grattan up there. He's going to have to work his tail off to get this victory here, and he's definitely in a great position. But he's got some heavy hitters behind him, because I look there to second and fourth. Who's going to restart on that top lane? It's going to be Chris Wade and Ken Campbell. Oh yeah, not too far behind either. They got Ross Tatum there with him in fifth.
And the driver that's in the lucky sixth position, Doug Pierce, that was the spot that Scott Rickard was in before he won last week for the shootout. That was where he started. And also for any other drivers coming across the white flag and coming to the white flag, it was that of Rickard that was in fifth place before the carnage through that of turns 1 and 2. Changed everything and allowed the 0-5 to just coast his way to victory. But Zach, I mean, this is it. To start the season off on the best note, to win at Daytona. So many drivers want to get it done. The team aspect's still there. I mean, we got the two favorites, that of Christopher Wade and Ken Campbell. They're going to be trying to figure out to get lined up. You've got the wild card of Kyle McCoy, who's just been so reckless at times, it seems like, from my eyes, but obviously testing every single situation possible. And then you got Jason Grattan, the driver that came in as a rookie. This is a sophomore year. He was a rookie last season, sophomore this year for this series, but certainly a driver that wants to start out on the best way possible with a win.
Oh, what a way to start a season it would be. I mean, he had a really good closing to the end of last season, and if he can carry that momentum into this race and start off with a win, I think that'll really help that carryover. And gotta not even look back too far. In ninth there, Sarton somehow has made his way back up into the picture. That 94 machine has got Medlin there in 10th also. So some other heavy hitters that we've seen from the past few seasons be very strong at each and every track. And Ryan Lynch, who was involved in that caution, he gets back up to his 7th position after getting involved in that. So and along with Pierce up to 8th. So those guys were involved in that there, but they're still actually pretty well off track position wise. How damaged is their race car going to be is the big question. But we got them double filed up here coming out of turn number 2. It's going to be Grattan on the bottom, Wade up top. He's going to have his teammate King Campbell there behind him, also with Tatum down low behind McCoy. This is setting up very well for that team, Sam. They could very well try to get that 3-man squad together, and that would be a deadly duo to be messing with here at the end. But I tell you what, it's going to come down to this one final chance, but I cannot wait to see how this plays out. This is going to be wild. I know that.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to overtime. 2 laps. If we get a yellow under this first lap, the race will end under yellow. But if we get the white flag, the gloves are off, you can wreck each other. It's all about who can make it to the end and cross the finish line first. It's going to be Jason Grattan, Christopher Wade, Kyle McCoy, Ken Campbell, Ross Tatum, Doug Pierce, Ryan Lynch, that of Brandon Pierce, also Andrew Medlin, and Cameron Sarton, your top 10 drivers. Who's going to start out with Season 5? Who's going to get the win first? Start on the right foot, locking themselves into the playoffs? Well, it's time to find out. Pace car is off, and the Daytona 200 is green once again for the last time. Who's getting the win? Here we go. Jason Grattan, Kyle McCoy lined up, and they're gone. Christopher Wade, Ken Campbell, the 2 drivers that dominated last season, they're on the charge.
Here they go. He goes up top here. Grattan looking to block the top lane. Oh, no, he went down and came back up. That would have been a bad decision to make, but went back up and covered it off. But I think that 53 is going to get to the outside. Wade here with the big push from his teammate of 15 here down the back straightaway. But it's going to be the inside lane of Kyle McCoy trying to help Grattan here. They're checking up back there, stacking up here as they head down the back straightaway. Let's see who's going to come to the white.
They're 2, they're 3 wide. The goal right now is just to make sure you're the driver ahead, because if the yellow flag comes out before that white flag, the race will end. They're 3 wide further back, and Jason Gray gets spun into the inside. Continues to race on. The freaky fast white flag is out. It's Ken Campbell, Christopher Wade. It was swapped last season, and Christopher Wade, he's got the charge, but he's got to hold on. Here comes the rest of the field. 3 wide, 4 rows deep, and they're wrecking now. Up front, just 5 drivers. It's Christopher Wade, Ken Campbell, Kyle McCoy, Ross Tatum, Doug Pierce, and blinking's going on. It's going to be Kyle McCoy on the outside, Christopher Wade as well. But Zach, here they come on to turn number 3.
And look here, you can't look too far. The 3 of Ryan Lynch coming with the help of the 12 of Andrew Medlin. They're going to have a chance here coming off of turn number 4. But look at this. Here comes Ryan Lynch. They're going to be coming off of 4 with a big head of steam.
He was second fiddle so many times last season. Christopher Wade wins the season 5 Daytona 200.
Whoa, let's go, Christopher Wade. That is a great finish for him. And they swap it up. They do the 1-2. Medlin coming up with 3rd. What could you say there? Did a great finish from that group there. And you know the repay back there from 1 season ago. Ah, man, that is from a teammate aspect, you can't do nothing better than what he just did there. And we said they were the favorite. Everybody knew it. They come out here and prove that point, man, and get it done. What a job by the 53 and that 15. Can't give a you got to give a big shout out to Tatum also. They're the 21 who really helped that cause also.
Christopher Wade, Ken Campbell, Andrew Medlin, our top 3. We'll talk to them during our post-race show, but holy smokes, you know this has got to be a good feeling for Christopher Wade. He pushed Ken Campbell 2 out of the 3 races to start out the season last for season 4, and now gets the assist from his teammate. You knew that the comeback and the help was going to happen at some point, but a season later, who would have guessed that, as Christopher Wade gets to burn it down. I think he's just going to sit in awe because he has won the Daytona 200 Season 5 of the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. Congratulations to Christopher Wade. And as he gets to have fun in the grass, we're going to step aside real quick. When we come back, it's the post-race show. We'll talk to our top 3. We'll be right back here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me, Zach Hall, Robert Moyer running productions, and you just got to see one of the most spectacular finishes here for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series Season 5, first race of the season, and it was the Daytona 200, and what a way it went out. We'll talk to our winner later on. We're going to start things off with third place finisher Andrew Medlin and get Medlin's thoughts on how tonight's race went, as it was a big one. Andrew, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. How are you doing with that finish in that chaos?
Well, I'll tell you what, my knuckles are tense. The sweat's beating off my forehead. I feel like I just ran 500 miles. It was intense.
That it was, Andrew, man. Congrats on making your way back up there into the top 3 coming down to the end, man. I mean, it had to be an up and down race for you, man. You were involved in a few incidents there, but guided your way back to the top 3. How did you end up getting back there?
I'll tell you what, at these super speedways, you need a little bit of lady luck on your side. But, yeah, we had a good group of us working together at Wolfpack Racing. And there was times in the middle of the race, we just found all of us sitting there in the back working together. And, you know, especially these opening races of the season, you just really got to keep the car in one piece. I didn't do that, and somehow I finished third. So I was just telling Wade and Campbell, I felt like I won the race after that. But you know, you got to pick the right lanes, keep the right runs, not do anything wild, and keep the nose pointed straight. But you know, like I said, a little bit of luck and guiding the car in the right place, and kept it straight towards that finish for a P3 finish.
I mean, Andrew, this season, just the beginning of it, but there's a lot of new rookies coming in that are looking pretty strong, just like what we saw last season with seeing Cameron Sarton come in and really shock a lot of drivers. How are you feeling with the new drivers that are coming in and the next couple of races that are coming up?
Every class that comes into this league is even stronger and stronger. I think using rookie for a lot of these guys is certainly an understatement. It's not like back when I joined the league 3 or 4 seasons ago, but we got some really good talent from what I've seen here these first 2 weeks for some of the new guys, and it's going to be a wild season. I don't know about everybody else, but I have hardly any laps in these next-gen cars, so I was really looking to have a good run here at the super speedways, because once we get to those intermediate tracks starting next week, I got a lot to learn and not a lot of time to figure it out. So we'll see. You know, my expectations might be a little bit lower once we get to those tracks, but hopefully I can click off at least 1 or 2 wins by the time we get to the playoffs and be sitting all right.
Well, Andrew, you've proven it season in and season out that you've got that consistency, and we hope that it continues on. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, certainly want to give a shout out to you guys in the broadcast booth. Freaky Fast, you guys do an absolutely phenomenal job. I get a lot of compliments from my families and friends watching these broadcasts. Just a great job. And I'm sure you did another great job tonight, and look forward to watching in that. I want to give a shout out to the league admins, Stars and Stripe League, the league sponsors, ButtKicker, Next Level Racing, Sharp Apparel, and certainly my teammates at Wolfpack Racing. It was a fun night, and give a shout out to my beautiful wife, my father Bruce, who's usually always watching, my brother Aaron, my good buddy Vernon. I think if Chris Essery's grandmother's watching these, I know she watched us on Tuesday night. Rita Evans, give a shout out to you. I know you're usually watching your grandson there, and we had a lot of fun tonight. But yeah, just looking forward to next week and bringing a Special Olympics. What am I driving? A Chevy Camaro home with another good finish next week.
We hope to see that as well, as that's going to be the 12 machine of Andrew Medlin coming away with third place finish. Congratulations, Andrew, and good luck next week.
Thanks, boys. See you next week in Texas. Take care.
As now we go to second place. He won this race last season, but this go around, he gives the favor back to his teammate, Ken Campbell, coming away with the second place finish. Ken, I mean, you talk about giving back. What a way to do it. He helped you last week, that of Chris Wade, and now this go around, you help him get the win this season.
Yeah, I've been telling him all season from Daytona last year. I was like, dude, I'm pushing you to the win. When next season, we're doing it. And I just can't believe that it actually happened. It was fantastic. He ran a great race, and he was there. I was just trying to get up to him, and I'm glad I was able to. And he blinked out there on the last lap and kind of scared me. But he was able to come back in, and yeah, just take second place to him running that. I'm just ecstatic.
Yeah, it was a great run, Ken. I tell you what, man, congrats on that. Great way to start your season. I know it's not in victory lane, but like you said, this is pretty much a victory anyways for the 1-2 with you two there. And you and Christopher did get split up there during that race, but you did have Ross there with you. You two worked very well. How were you and Ross able to work your way back into position there on that final restart? Because y'all were right there again, able to help Christopher when it came down to the end.
Yeah, so I was starting on the outside behind Chris, and Ross was on the inside. And I knew that Doug hadn't been getting the greatest restarts, and so you can change lanes after the start finish. And so the plan was for us to kind of get out there, and then Ross just fall in line, and then just set up, train, and go. And it was working well. I don't really know what happened there at the end. I know Andrew came in from like ninth, I think, on the restart. Don't know what happened to Ross, but yeah, it was working. Everything was going, and then, like I said, Wade blinked out, and I think McCoy or somebody else blinked out at the same time. I thought I was gone because the car in front and behind me both left, and I think that's when something happened with Ross, and so it was just a whole lot of panic on that last lap. But we were able to bring it home.
Oh, it was plenty of panic. We were panicking up the booth with the wreck that was happening, also surprised what was going on up front. But man, Ken, you had such a strong season at the start of season 4 last go around. Here for this season, new car, coming up with new tracks to start the season off. How are you feeling with coming up to Texas and Pocono coming up?
Feeling pretty good. I wanted to get more practice in during the off season. Had a foot injury, hadn't been able to run as much, so I was lucky that the last couple of weeks has just been right foot driving. And so, but the foot's better. Got to train it up. It'll be a little bit different because I know at Texas some guys shift and some guys don't, and the checkups and the brakes in these cars are a little bit different. But really looking forward to it. I think Storm Motorsports in general is going to be really strong. So I think we're going to run well.
They certainly look very strong indeed. As Ken, congratulations on a second place finish and helping your teammate get to victory lane. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, first and foremost, as always, thank you to my wife and kids and my mom and sister for supporting me in all that I do, and sim racing as well. Everybody at Storm Motorsports, got a real good group of guys that I think we're going to do well. BG Construction for being the team sponsor for that as well. Nate, Brian, Derek, everybody here at Stars and Stripes, and you guys up in the booth.
Well, thank you, Ken, and congratulations again on a second place finish. As second place runner, going to be Ken Campbell in the 15. Congratulations on that, and good luck going into next week.
Thanks, guys.
As we now go to victory lane. Thought if we stayed green, he could have got himself $50, but instead he'll get himself that of a diecast of his own car. So congratulations to that of Christopher Wade. A great run for himself. As we've got that at the 53 of Christopher Wade, our winner of the season 5 Daytona 200. Chris, you helped that of Ken Campbell get it done last season so many different times. You kept on being the second fiddle, but this go around, you are now finally the winner. How does it feel to win the Daytona 200?
Oh man, it feels amazing. He kept saying all last season that he was gonna help me win the Daytona, so I was sure enough happy to see him when he got behind me. So yeah, I mean it was awesome. He knowed I really wanted this win here, and he got up there behind me and helped me. So I can't thank him enough.
Yeah, congrats, Chris, man, on the win here tonight. That was a heck of a way to start the season off for yourself here, man, in that 53 machine. Great teamwork once again here shown at the plate tracks, buddy. I mean, man, new car here this season. Again, every season you guys change to another car, but this right here, I mean, you did exactly what you've shown to do in the Gen 6 previously, but I think this car will be a big change up heading into the season. How's it feel at least to kick off tonight with the win and know that your season starts off with the first position?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a huge motivator for sure. We gonna hope we can do something next week for sure. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience with these cars either. So I ran them a few times in the NIS, and they seem to do all right. sometimes, but short tracks are a little rough. But we're gonna see how it goes. That's for sure. And Ken, he's gonna be a big help for sure. He's showing me lessons. That's I gotta thank him because he helped me qualify for sure. He um I struggle with qualifying usually, but yeah, we got up here, so that was a huge help for sure.
I mean, Chris, another fabulous run. You get to say now you are a Daytona 200 winner for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. Congratulations on that. Now, how are you feeling on the also the aspect you got the win, playoffs now secure for yourself, and do you feel like now you can try a lot more reckless moves throughout this season to try different things?
Um, Usually I like to play it safe. I still like getting those W's, so we'll just see how it goes. See if I can be a little aggressive. Usually I just keep my cool, and try to stay back conservative, but we'll see.
Well, Chris, congratulations again on the victory. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
I want to thank my mom and dad and Nate and those guys, Derek, for putting on the league and all those guys that help and sponsorship and AC2 Skins. He's the man that gave this awesome wrap and PG Construction. All my teammates were all smarty and especially Ken. He's a awesome dude. I'm happy to have him as a teammate always. And want to give a shout out to my friend Chelsea and you guys for putting on our broadcast. Thank you guys.
Well, thank you for giving us the show to broadcast because it was an entertaining one here tonight. Christopher Wade, the 53 machine, congratulations on the win here tonight and good luck heading to Texas next week.
Thank you, man.
As we find ourselves after talking to the drivers, take a look at our unofficial racing results as we'll take a look. Again, got to talk to our top three, that being Christopher Wade, Ken Campbell, and Andrew Medlin. And those three drivers, so strong. They've been some of the strongest drivers throughout the season. But I got to say, this field certainly has a lot of rookies to watch out for. In the first one, Ryan Lynch, that three machine had to carve his way through, involved with a lot of incidences early on. Crazy thing, Zach, he never used a fast repair for the three, even though he's involved with so much carnage.
That is pretty wild to see there, man. I tell you that, yeah, involved in a lot of carnage there coming down the end, but cars seem to survive it. And I think that's one thing we'll see with this Gen 7 car, and these guys will too. The damage model is very tough with how when you hit the wheels on the walls, but man, contact between cars, it's very light actually, and you can beat and bang with you guys and be very aggressive. I think that'll play well to the strengths of a lot of people here.
And then finishing out our top five, going to be that of Kyle McCoy, our three-time champion of this series. Top five finish, great way for him to start out. Then another rookie of Ross Tatum going to be in sixth, with Doug Pierce in seventh, Dylan Glass in eighth. Another rookie of Zach Bright's going to be in ninth, with Kyle Bowling finishing out our top 10. And Zach, I mean, there's a lot of drivers we can continue to praise. I mean, 11th, Patrick Hastings, great run for himself, as well as Will Bussler, who was a lap down for the majority of this race, but you fall all the way back to the end of the line, there's some drivers that wish they had some better finishes.
Yeah, number one that pops up in my mind is that man at 30th, Jason Grattan, leading this thing going into the green-white checkered. Was possibly going to lead it to the white flag. It's a little bit of a bump gone wrong from the 7 of McCoy there. Goes for a ride. He's going to finish a lap down at 30th. That has got to be a heartbreaker for that guy, man. Feel for him for sure. But we'll see if he can bounce back next week at Texas.
Yeah, next week in Texas should be a good one to watch as they're going to be there for 133 laps, 200 miles at the Texas course for the drivers, and get to see a little bit of the taste of what to expect for the rest of the season. The super speedways, the wild card of who can get it done. Anyone's got a chance. Next week starts who's got the skill, who's got the talent to go for a championship. But as we're coming to a conclusion here at Daytona, Zach, what are some of your final thoughts before we get off the air?
Well, first off, congrats, Christopher Wade. Can't say that enough. They were him and Ken Campbell were the favorites for a reason coming into this race, and they proved it once again. Swapped the results there, so that's pretty cool to see from those two teams, two drivers in a team. But Man, I'm just excited with all the new drivers we got. A lot of the sophomore drivers coming back from last season showing improvement. I can't wait to see Texas. I actually haven't called a race at the new Texas in a very long time, so it'll be one of the first here for us in a long time here, even at Freaky Fast. So at Texas, so we'll see how that works out, man. But I tell you, it's gonna be a fun season. People are gonna want to tune in and see how this all plays out. These guys here, they know how to really send it, and I think they're going to show that week in and week out here once again.
That they certainly are. Tonight was the start of a new season, but for here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, throughout the weekend, we still got plenty of great coverage. Going to be starting that of Saturday night. Going to be the end of the season for season 4 for WSSR iRacing iFly Cup Series, as they'll be at Charlotte. Then Sunday, going to be seeing that of the 802 Next Gen Cup Series, as they'll have round number 4 at Michigan. And to finish out the weekend, Monday night, going to be the end of the season for season 2 of the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, as they'll be finding themselves at that of Homestead. Plenty of racing action to be covered here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us on Thursday night as the Stars and Stripes Cup Series Season 5 has officially begun, and your first winner is Christopher Wade in the 53. Well, we got plenty of new rookies, plenty of old faces, and a ton of great racing action to be seen on Thursday night. And we hope to see you again next week. Thursday, it is Texas 200 for 133 laps. Can't wait to see you then. But for tonight, we'll see you on our next broadcast. Next one again is that of Saturday. Have a good one, everybody.